If I'd been giving this speech 30 years ago, I would have been laughed out of the room. Back then, movies reigned supreme in the form of visual entertainment, and television was considered mostly lowbrow, common denominator type of entertainment. However, due to the following three reasons, I believe that TV has overcome movies as the gold standard of entertainment today. One, because of the longer total airtime, television has more time to develop their characters, leading into deeply complex, rich character arcs. Two, the relaxed standards of censorship have allowed showrunners to create darker, grittier, edgier, more realistic stories. And three, due to the emergence of HBO and Netflix as content producing powerhouses. Now I'm going to talk about the first point. Now, the average movie blockbuster has a runtime of about 2 hours. Now, a standard drama series on television today in a single season could be anywhere between, say, 10 to 20 hours, easily 10 times the amount a movie runtime has. This is very, very important in regards to character development because the best characters on TV don't change overnight. Take Breaking Bad's Walter White or Mad Men's Don Draper, for example. Part of the thrill of watching a television program is seeing these characters change over the years, not just over a course of 2 hours. Character arcs that deep and complex can't simply be done in a single sitting. Television rewards viewers on rewatches by providing dozens and dozens of hours of deep, complex scenes that help develop these characters and make them into the characters we know and love today. In fact, many movies with similar character arcs and character developments, such as those two, let's say Michael Corleone from the Godfather trilogy or Luke Skywalker from the Star Wars saga, all have the benefit of being in multiple movies, allowing their character arcs to go for at least 6 hours, upwards of 9 even. Now for my second point. The relaxed standards of censorship have allowed showrunners to create edgier, more realistic stories. Now, it's hard to imagine because of the lax censorship now, but things like swear words, sex, violence, drugs used to be heavily taboo in TV. However, that is not the case anymore. On television, short of saying maybe the F word or a few other words of that nature, you can basically do whatever you want on TV. You can show horrible, horrible violence, you can show sex on screen, you can show people doing drugs on screen, which I think is a positive thing. You see, because all of these things don't necessarily make stories good in of themselves, but what they do is that they make these stories more realistic, therefore more easy for the common person to be able to relate to these stories because they're realistic. No one in my generation can relate to old sitcoms anymore, like All in the Family or Happy Days, because that's not how we live our life. You see, old television shows are so drastically different from the culture we have today, it's almost impossible to relate to them, which is why with these relaxed censorship standards, I really think that it's easier for people of my generation and people of older generations as well to connect to the shows and be able to relate to them. Now for my last point, the emergence of HBO and Netflix. HBO, or Home Box Office, that's titled, more than lives up to its name, promising high quality theatrical content delivered in a television format on week-to-week basis. HBO attracts the best writers, the best producers, the best special effects guys, the best directors out of any television network. Just look at their track record. Shows like The Wire and Sopranos, according to RollingStones.com, are rated as The Sopranos is number one and The Wire is the number one TV shows of all time. Other critically acclaimed pieces, such as Deadwood, Oz, Rome, Eastbound and Down, among many others, are also heavily, heavily acclaimed. And that's not even counting shows like Game of Thrones or Westworld, who have made an immediate worldwide phenomenon. HBO's shows not only have the high quality, but they also have the budget to be able to pull home movie experiences off through a television format. For example, Game of Thrones each season has a budget of about $100 million, which is easily the amount of a standard blockbuster. Because of this, HBO is really, really effective at making content every bit as good, if not better, than movies. Now I want to talk to you about Netflix. You see, Netflix as you can see here, what it is that it is a way to watch television shows and movies online.